Once upon a time, on the streets of Beverly Hills, a love story changed the world. But what happens when the fairy tale ends and real life begins? Asterisk, the screen fades from black, and soft golden light fills the frame. The camera glides slowly over the glowing skyline of Los Angeles. The city is alive, traffic buzzing like electricity. Neon signs flickering in the night, and the soft hum of a place where dreams are bought and sold. The sound of a faint piano melody begins to rise, gentle and nostalgic, pulling the audience into a memory that feels both distant and familiar in a quick flash. We see the shadow of a woman walking past a row of glittering boutiques. Her heels click against the pavement, echoing with the same rhythm that once turned heads decades ago. The camera doesn't show her face, only her silhouette, the swish of her hair, the graceful swing of her stride. Behind her, the lights of Beverly Hills sparkle like jewels, almost as if the city itself remembers her story. Then, a sudden cut. A sleek black limousine glides down Rodeo Drive. Its tinted windows hide the man inside, but his presence is undeniable. The audience knows, even before seeing his face, that this is a man of wealth, a man of power. Someone who has returned to the very streets where love once changed his life forever. The limousine slows at a red light, and for a brief second the world seems to pause. The faint sound of a crowd in the distance grows louder, and the clicking of cameras fills the silence. A voice deep and steady begins to speak over the images. 35 years ago, a chance meeting became an unforgettable love story. A story that broke barriers, captured hearts, and proved that even the unlikeliest pair could find forever in each other. The words are deliberate, each one landing with the weight of history, pulling the audience into the past while teasing the future. The music swells softly as a new scene fades in. A man's hand, older now, stronger, but trembling slightly, reaches out to close the door of a boutique shop. His wedding ring finger is bare. His hand lingers on the doorknob as though he is holding onto something more than just the door. The camera pulls back, showing the outline of his figure in the soft glow of the shop's lights. No face is revealed, only his silhouette, familiar yet changed by the years. The piano melody begins to shift into something more haunting, a tune that carries both memory and longing. The voiceover continues, but time has a way of changing even the most perfect fairy tales. People grow, lives drift apart, and the love you once thought would last forever becomes only a memory. Cut to a newspaper being folded onto a table. The headline is bold and striking. Billionaire returns to Beverly Hills. The article is blurred, unreadable except for a single photo of a man stepping out of a private jet. His figure surrounded by flashing lights and reporters. The sound of camera shutters intensifies, building the sense of anticipation. As the screen darkens again, one final line of voiceover is delivered in a softer, almost intimate tone. But sometimes, life gives us a second chance. The music swells as golden letters fade into the screen. Pretty Woman 2, second chances, the audience is hooked. They are drawn back into a story they once loved, teased with the promise of a reunion, of love rediscovered, of what happens when fairy tales dare to return. Asterisk, the city hums with the restless rhythm of Los Angeles. But this time the camera does not linger on the glitter of shop windows or the red glow of taillights. Instead, it glides upward, showing a skyline of glass towers reaching for the night sky, their reflections alive with light. The lens settles on one window, just one on the top floor of a sleek skyscraper. Inside, we glimpse a man standing alone, his figure outlined by the glow of the city. He is older now, his posture a little heavier, his stance less certain. His hand rests on the edge of the window, as if he is searching for something beyond the horizon. He has everything. And yet there is a hollowness to the way he looks out at the world he built. The voiceover returns, low and deliberate. He had it all: power, wealth, success. But the one thing he never truly held on to was her. The music softens into a single violin note, long and aching. Cut to a quiet boutique in Beverly Hills, one not filled with diamonds or gowns, but warm wooden shelves, soft light, and a sense of calm. A woman's hands are seen arranging scarves, folding them with care. The camera follows the way her fingers smooth the fabric, the way she pauses for a moment to look at her reflection in the glass. Her face is not shown, but her movements carry a weight of grace and experience. She is no longer the girl who once dreamed of escape. She has built a life, a career, and independence. Yet in the silence of the shop, there is a flicker of something unspoken. An emptiness she hides behind her steady rhythm of work. The voiceover continues. She had nothing and turned it into everything. But even the strongest heart remembers the love that changed it all. The camera cuts sharply to a limousine door closing. Flashes of cameras explode as the man from the skyscraper steps onto a red carpet. We do not see his face, only the blur of reporters. The chaos of microphones thrust forward, and the snap of his polished shoes moving across the ground. His return is not just personal, it is public. His name, his presence is a headline again, as the crowd cheers and reporters call out questions. The music shifts, blending the piano with the slow build of a drum beat. We see him shake hands, nod politely, and step into a sea of lights. Yet in a brief moment, when no one is watching, his hand slips into his pocket, pulling out an old photograph. The corners are frayed, the colors faded. A woman's smile is barely visible in the dim glow. He looks at it, and for the first time in years, his eyes seem alive again. Cut back to the boutique. The woman hears laughter outside her shop, the sound of a young couple passing by, carefree and in love. She watches them through the glass, her expression unreadable. Slowly, she flips the open sign to closed and steps into the quiet night. The streetlights bathe her in soft gold, casting long shadows on the pavement. She takes a deep breath, as if preparing for something she cannot name. The voiceover lowers, almost to a whisper. 2 lives once entwined. Now, worlds apart. Until fate writes the next chapter. The screen fades into text, bold and glowing against the dark. Julia Roberts. Richard Gere. The music swells again this time. Not with nostalgia, but with a spark of possibility. A promise that their worlds are about to collide once more. The section closes with a wide shot of Beverly Hills at night. In the distance, 2 figures walk in opposite directions on separate streets. They don't see each other, but the audience does. The paths are about to cross, and destiny is already moving. Asterisk, the screen opens on the blur of flashing lights. A wall of cameras, microphones, and reporters crowd the entrance of a grand hotel in Beverly Hills. Their voices rise in a storm of questions, overlapping, desperate for sound bites. The limousine door opens, and polished shoes step onto the marble steps. His silhouette cuts through the chaos. To the world, he is the returning billionaire, the legend who left and came back stronger. But the camera doesn't linger on his wealth or his success. Instead, it zooms close, just enough to show the way his hand grips the railing too tightly. As though he is bracing himself against more than the crowd, the voiceover begins. Softer, but edged with tension, he built an empire. But without her, it was only walls of glass and steel. Cut to a very different world. The boutique again, now filled with movement. Customers wander between shelves, voices warm, the air alive with energy. And there she is, her silhouette framed in the glow of the shop lights. She moves with calm authority, helping, guiding, smiling politely. On the outside, she is content. But the camera catches the moment she hides, her eyes drifting to the window when she thinks no one is watching. Her hand brushing over a necklace she never wears. The pause when someone mentions his name in casual conversation. The music changes. A low heartbeat drum layered beneath the melody, pulsing like unspoken emotions. A quick cut. The billionaire at a boardroom table, surrounded by lawyers and advisors. Their mouths move, words flying about contracts, deals, numbers, but their voices are muffled, drowned out by silence. His eyes stare at a photograph tucked into his leather folder. The sound of her laughter echoes faintly in the background, though she isn't there. He blinks, and the voices return, sharp and hollow. He is present, but absent. Then, a shift. The camera reveals a newspaper headline. Charity Gala, to honor local designers. The image below the headline shows her boutique, her name in bold letters. His hand lingers on the page, subtle smile forming for the first time in years. The voiceover deepens, urgent now. She built a life of her own. She rose from nothing, found her voice, her strength, but the past has a way of finding you. The screen cuts sharply to her walking down the steps of the gala. Paparazzi lights burst around her, the flash bouncing against her gown. For a moment, the camera slows, capturing the grace in her walk, the quiet confidence she now wears like armor. Reporters call her name, asking about her success, her designs, her future. She smiles, steady, until her eyes catch on something across the crowd. The camera swings to reveal him, stepping out of the shadows. The music drops to silence. Only the sound of her breath remains. He looks at her. She looks at him. No words, no smiles. Just years of distance and unspoken history hanging in the air. The crowd continues to shout. TI cameras continue to flash, but for them, the world has gone silent. Then, in an almost whispered dialogue, their voices overlap in a haunting echo. His voice, "I never stopped thinking about you." Her voice, "And yet, here we are, strangers again." The music explodes back in. Strings swelling with heartbreak and intensity, the screen cuts between their lives. In fragments, a heated argument behind closed doors, shadows against the glass. Champagne glasses breaking on the floor. A tender moment of near laughter, interrupted by silence. His hand reaching for hers, hers pulling away. The voiceover delivers the question that defines their story. Can love survive the years, the distance, and the choices that tore them apart? Asterisk, the screen bursts to life with a swell of strings. Quick cuts flash across the screen, each one sharper and faster than the last. The soft golden tones from before are gone. Now the colors are bold, vivid. Charged with urgency, we see them dancing in a grand ballroom. Her gown flowing like liquid light, his hand resting carefully against her back. For a moment it feels like the fairy tale has returned. But the camera shifts, showing the tension in their eyes, two people trying to hold on to something fragile. The music darkens. A low drum beat pounding like a heartbeat. Cut to a storm. Rain pelts the streets of Los Angeles, the reflections of neon signs bleeding into the wet pavement. He runs through the rain, his silhouette illuminated by the glare of passing headlights. His breath is heavy, his expression unreadable. But the urgency in his stride tells the story. He is chasing something he cannot afford to lose again. Then, silence. A door slams. The camera cuts to her, standing alone in her boutique. The shelves behind her, empty, as though the life she built is slowly unraveling. She clutches a letter in her hand, trembling, torn between anger and longing. Her voice breaks the silence, soft but heavy with emotion. "I don't know if I can forgive you." Not after everything. The music swells back. It's time with violins that cut sharp against the rising piano montage flashes. A charity runway. Her designs shimmering under the spotlight. His hand reaching for hers in a crowded gala. Her eyes filled with conflict. A moment of laughter between them, fragile and fleeting, shattering into silence as the camera cuts to a slammed door. Her standing in the middle of the boutique, the lights turning off one by one, as though time itself is closing in. The voiceover rises with intensity. Some fairy tales don't fade. They haunt you. They wait. Until life dares you to write the ending again. The music builds to a roar as scenes flicker faster. Two glasses clinking, champagne spilling over. His figure silhouetted against a jet runway, torn between staying and leaving. Her hand brushing over a necklace she once wore in another life. A near kiss beneath the glow of Beverly Hills lights interrupted by silence. Their lips never touching. The camera slows, the storm breaking into a golden sunrise. He stands outside her boutique as the first light of morning falls across his face. For the first time, we see him vulnerable, not the billionaire, not the legend. Just a man searching for the woman who once changed everything. She steps into the doorway, her figure framed in the glow. Their eyes meet. Neither moves, neither speaks. The music drops away, leaving only the sound of a single piano note. Hanging in the air like a heartbeat, then, in a voice barely above a whisper, the narrator delivers the promise: some stories never end. They wait. For a second chance, the screen erupts into the title card. Pretty Woman 2. Second Chance's 2025 tagline fades beneath it. This time, forever, the final note of the piano echoes